Welcome to Chef Richard's Kitchen. I'm Chef Richard Miller. Today we're going to make chicken Florentine. And chicken Florentine, even though it has the name a la Florentine, meaning in the style of Florence, it didn't come from Florence. It has a relationship to Florence, but not originating from there. How do I mean by that? Let's go back to the 16th century, to the year about 1533. And there was a woman, her name was Catherine de' Medici. And she was the daughter of, I believe it was Lorenzo de' Medici, who was, of course, her father. And he was either, and here's where it's a little fuzzy, he was either the brother or uncle or cousin of Giuseppe de' Medici, who was later elected Pope Clement the Seventh. And so that's where the story gets interesting. Anyway, most of the time marriages between royalty back in those days were pretty much for either land or alliances. And in this case, the Roman Empire was bearing down on them. And one of the things that Clement VII did was took and arranged for Catherine to be married to a Frenchman who was actually the second son of Francis I, who was on the throne. And his name was Henry, and he was the Duke of Orleans. And so, anyway, when Catherine went up to marry him, she was only 14 years old at the time, of course. Henry was too. When she went up to marry him, she took her chefs and her servants and everything else with her. And supposedly that is where, Florentine or a la Florentine was developed. Now, was there interaction or interacting between the foods between the Italians and the French before the 16th century? Oh, of course there was. Many people have said that spinach and the food up there was no big deal. It had come from Italy centuries earlier. My feeling is that this is probably, since she was from Florence, this was probably where it got its name, a la Florence or a la Florentine. So anyway, that's what we're going to do today. Is we're going to make chicken Florentine, and we're going to start out. It's going to be made in 3 steps. Number 1, we're going to make a bechamel sauce. All right, and that's just basically a white roux. A white sauce with a roux and cheese in there. And when we add the cheese, it's going to become a Mornay sauce. All right? Then when we get that done, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pound and we're going to flour and brown our chicken. All right? And when it's cooked through, we're going to go ahead and saute or wilt our spinach, garlic, and the rest of our ingredients, and then pour the Mornay sauce in with that, plate it, put the chicken on top of that. So let's get started. First thing I'm starting out with is 4 cups of milk. All right, now to add a little bit of flavor, I've taken a shallot and I've basically cut it in wedges. I'm going to put that in there and a couple of small bay leaves. Right. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to cook this until it's scalded. And it'll probably take 3 to 4 minutes or something like that on a goodly heat. And I'll show you how to tell when it's scalded. There's a correct point And when you get to that point, it's scalded. So let me cut the tape right here, and we're going to wait for this. We're going to wait for this to high simmer or scald. Don't go away. Okay, right now the milk is about 185 degrees, and while the camera was off, I tried to take a picture of this, and let's see how it turns out when I edit it. When you take this pan and tilt it back, if it's scalded, it tends to coat the bottom of the pan, and that's when you know it's scalded. So right now this is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the milk off, and I'm going to put a saute pan on, and now it's going to be time we're going to make our roux. Alright, now for our roux, I want to put 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter in there, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let this melt down. And I'll give it a few minutes here, so I'll go ahead and cut the tape again. See you in a bit. Okay, our butter's melted. So now what I want to do is I want to put in 4.5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Now, to make a roux, as pretty much everyone knows, and for you people that don't, here's a good opportunity to learn. We may have to add just a little bit more oil in here. Nah, we're probably all right. What a roux is we're going to take, I want to add a little bit more. Just a little olive oil. A roux is just simply some kind of a milk or cream or oil along with flour, and you go ahead and you make this and stir it until it's a good consistency. I'll put this under the detail camera here, and you've cooked it long enough that the flour taste has been cooked out of it. Which is one of the reasons that chefs will take and add the flour early in the dish for 2 reasons. Number one, when you go back and you add your liquid, that keeps it from curdling when it thickens. And number 2, it cooks that flour taste out of it. So. All right, now let's go ahead and put our pan back on. Okay, and we're going to take our roux and we're going to put that in with our milk or our flour. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to stir this until it tends to thicken. And remember, flour, cornstarch, arrowroot, or any of these other thickeners don't really thicken until it gets almost to the boiling point or to the boiling point. So if you put it in and it's cool and it doesn't thicken, it's not that you've done anything wrong, it's just it isn't hot enough to thicken. All right, it's starting to thicken. It's not quite there yet. Actually, it is. And the way I've always been taught is, in this case, you want to be able to take a spoon, run your finger down it, and if it doesn't tend to go back, fill back in again, you're there. But I'm not quite happy with this. It's not smooth enough yet. Much better. All right, let's turn our heat off. And right now what we want to do, we want to taste it. Tastes good. You can taste a little of the shallots, not much. Mostly the milk. I want to take and put a little salt in here. I'm going to use white pepper. This is a white sauce, so it won't stick out, like a sore thumb in there. And I'm going to grate a little nutmeg. Excellent. So now let's go ahead, and I want to strain this into a bowl. Now, let me turn this back on. And I'm going to pour our bechamel back into our pot. Like this. And I'm going to let it heat up again just a little bit. Stay tuned. All right, it's getting nice and warmed up here. So it's time we go ahead and we add our cheese. And what I've got is about 4 ounces of Gruyere. And I'm not going to put this in all at once. And a couple ounces of Pecorino Romano. And if I put this in all at once, it doesn't melt real smooth. In fact, I might make it my whisk again. Oh, this is melting really well. This is also one of the reasons why I don't buy up pre-shredded cheese. Because pre-shredded cheese, to keep it from clumping together after it's shredded, they usually put a cornstarch or a cellulose or something like that over it, which is fine for keeping them separate. They won't clump together. But at the same time, it's not very good for your cheese melting either. Now, this isn't a bechamel sauce anymore. This is now a Mornay sauce. So when you hear people talking about, a Mornay sauce, well, that's what it is. It's just a bechamel sauce with cheese in it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this off the burner and I'm going to put it over. I'm going to put it over on the stove, and then it's going to be time. Let's do the chicken. So let me get set up for that. I'll be right back. Don't go far. Okay, we're ready for our chicken. And what we want to do here is I've got probably between a half and probably 2/3 of a cup of flour in here. I want to take, and I'm going to add just a little bit of salt to this. About a teaspoon or so of Italian herb mix. And I just want to give this a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Why? It helps it brown, and it also gives it a little better flavor. I'm not going to put a lot in, but just a little. Right? Now let me go ahead and take a little small whisk and kind of whisk this together. Okay, now we're ready to flatten our chicken. I've just got a piece of wax paper. I've used regular plastic wrap for this before. It works well. But you know what works the best out of anything for pounding meats flat? That lining you get in your cereal box. You know, the one that looks like wax paper, but it's just tough as nails. You can beat just about anything in those. So if you buy cereal for the kids, or even yourself, you know, if you want, go ahead and save those. They're well worth it. All right, let's go ahead and take our chicken now. And I'm just going to flatten it till between 3/8 and 1/2 inch, somewhere around in there. There. Why do I do this? Well, the big reason is that when it's all the same thickness, it all cooks at the same time. You don't have to worry about one big thick piece not getting cooked and a little thin piece down there getting overcooked. My biggest problem is when I was first starting to cook, and I was using the meat mallet, I thought you had to beat it like you were pounding a nail into your house. Boy, did I tear up some meat doing that. No. It's not a Hercules task. It's just gentle pounding until it gets down to the right thickness. Okay, there we go. Now let me go ahead and let's get our flour here. And I'm going to dredge my chicken and kind of push it in because you want it to stick. All right. Okay, all four are dredged, and what I want to do now is I want to let these rest over here for about 5 minutes. That lets the moisture kind of get up in there, and it keeps the flour, it helps it stick a little bit better. So while I'm waiting for that, I've got a little mess here. I need to clean that up. So once again, I'm going to shut the camera off so you don't have to watch me. Okay, our pan's heating up nicely. So what I want to do now is I want to take in and I want to put in about a tablespoon of butter and probably about a tablespoon of olive oil. And let's just go ahead like this. Let's just let this melt in there. All right, now let's go ahead and I'm going to take and I'm going to put our chicken in here. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to do all 4 of these. So what I did was I just went ahead and put 2 in here. We'll go ahead and we'll let them brown, we'll let them cook, and then we'll do the other 2. Then we're going to put them on the plate here. We're going to tint them to keep them warm, and we're going to go ahead and make our sauce with our spinach down, and then we're ready to plate. So give me a couple minutes here. Okay, I'll put this under the detail camera. You can see that it's browned nicely. And so now it's ready to turn. We'll give it a few minutes over on this side as well. We're going to make sure that these are cooked through this time, and other times when I've had them in a pan later on and kept them for a while, you know, it wasn't so important. This time we're not going to be cooking them in a secondary, so this is the time where you have to cook them. Now if they're brown, I'm going to put the lid on, keep the heat in here, just kind of help them cook. Okay, they're up to about 165, so I'm going to go ahead and take these out and put our second batch in. Okay, let's go ahead and flip these. Put our lid on, our chicken's about done. Okay, I think these are done too. Oh yeah. Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's put them under the tent with the others. All right, now let's go ahead and I'm taking 1 shallot. And I've got a couple of cloves of garlic that I'm going to saute in here. But as I always tell you, saute your onions and shallots, whatever, first. And that way you don't have to worry about your garlic. You don't have to worry about your garlic burning. When your shallot is translucent and tender, now let's put in our garlic. And we saute this until the garlic is just fragrant. That just brings out the flavor. All right, now I'm putting about 1/3 of a cup of white wine. And remember, I told you that's just my Gewürztraminer. Would Sauvignon Blanc work? Oh yeah. You know, would Pinot Grigio? Yeah. There's another wine out there, Viognier, that is a very crisp wine. It's not quite as smooth as some of these others. Would it work? Oh yeah. Yeah. As I always tell people when it comes to cooking with beer, wine, or any other kind of alcohol, you know, it's like what wine goes best with this meal. Whatever you like. That's definitely what goes best with it. All right, now, that's got a good flavor. So now let's go ahead and let's put our spinach in. Now, does this look like a Haas size, you know, batch of spinach? Yeah. But remember, you know, spinach will wilt down. So what we've got here and what our final product is going to be a whole lot different. So make sure you don't run out of spinach. Put our cap on. Let's just go ahead and let the spinach wilt for a minute. We're actually getting about to the point where we're about ready to plate. As you can see, let me move this so you can. As you can see, it's only been a minute or so. And you can see how this has gone from here down to here. So I just stir it in a little bit. And let it go some more. Okay, our spinach is really wilted down very good. I'm going to put this under the detail camera so you can kind of see how this is. All right. So now let me go ahead. Let me get our Mornay sauce. All right, let me go ahead and turn this to temperature instead of wattage. And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to mix this in. All right. Very, very, very good. All right, now it's time to plate. Let's go ahead and take our tint off of our chicken. We'll get our plate here. And let's see if my ladle will work a little better. Okay. Put our piece of chicken on there. Now, we can garnish this with a little slice of lemon. You can garnish it with a little leaf of spinach, or use the old chef's standby. Just a piece of parsley. Once again, let me put that under the detail camera. And there we go. We now have chicken Florentine. It isn't real difficult. It is time consuming and it does take a few steps. But other than that, it's not difficult at all. And it's very, very tasty. I tasted the Mornay sauce with the spinach in there, and it's absolutely delicious. You can taste the spinach, you can taste the cheeses, you can taste the garlic and the wine in the background. And since we boiled all the demons out of the wine, there's no alcohol. Once again, I ask you to go ahead and try this. Give it a try. I know you'll like it because it's extremely good. Give it a try. Let me know how it turns out. I'm always anxious and I love hearing from my viewers how their meals turn out. So far, I don't get so many comments, but I do get quite a bit of email, and so far it's been positive. It's been coming out real well. I do every once in a while get a few questions and something like that. I will do my best to answer any of those, because remember, your cooking should be a good experience, and the better I can answer your question, the better experience you're going to have. So anyway, thank you again for watching. Thank you for inviting me into your home. I want to say thank you, take care, God bless. Remember, give me a thumbs up, and even better, subscribe, or have any of your cooking friends also subscribe. So, in the meantime, I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye for now.